Schwantz, what do you really think of the Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered multiplayer reveals?
Most of the time, I do interject my actual opinion into the trailer parodies, and other times I just say shit because it's funny, or I say things that I believe most people are thinking or even feeling, even if I don't do so myself. Sometimes it's really difficult to discern what I actually think about a trailer or a patch just from a parody video of mine, so let me spell it out for you here. I'm going to try the demo of the game. Yes, I said demo, not beta, because putting a game on showcase only 2 to 3 weeks before launch isn't going to have much change between then and the release, so calling it a beta implies change will happen, which we all know is absolute utter bullshit. Until I actually get my hands on the game, I'm not going to write it off or even get hyped as fuck for it, as playing the game is much more important than the edited trailers that make you feel like a god watching it. The trailer reminds me so much of Black Ops 3, and a lot of people are joking that it took Infinity Ward 3 years to make a game we already have. Isn't it funny how Call of Duty fans think? People give them shit when they do something different like Advanced Warfare, but then when they copy-paste from a previous game, it's also shit. Call of Duty fans want boots on the ground even though there's been 7 previous games with it, because this is really a disposable franchise, and that's unfortunate for us consumers. Further cementing that yearly releases are bad and the 3-year dev cycle is bullshit, what I think happened is that Infinity Ward had this other, more grandiose idea with battles in zero gravity and all that other cool shit, which I actually would have been excited about, but Activision pressured them into making a game like Black Ops 3 because we all know that it was well received before all the supply drop bullshit infested the game. Personally, I'd rather have Advanced Warfare movement than Black Ops 3 movement, but I think I'm in the minority here because I don't like the arbitrary scale in which movement is restricted in Black Ops 3. The thing I dislike more about Black Ops 3 is how passive the game plays with the map design, aka head glitches and zones, along with the weapon balancing towards assault rifles being so dominant in the game. It makes for a very passive Call of Duty game. If Infinite Warfare is Black Ops 3 movement with a better map design and game philosophy that favors a more run and gun play style, then I'm all about it. Looking at actual gameplay, which has absolutely littered the sub box in the past couple of days, versus the time to kill in the trailer, it looks to be less like Ghosts and more like Advanced Warfare, which is a good thing, because it will discourage constant camping due to people being afraid to move around. I hope that Infinity Ward learned a lesson from Ghosts in terms of map design, and they said my all-time favorite descriptive phrase, although reversed in the briefing: medium to small size maps with 3-lane engagements. I think that if the maps are more in line with the older Infinity Ward games like the Modern Warfare series instead of Ghosts, then this will be a really good game, considering that the gameplay mechanics of Ghosts were pretty good in terms of hit detection, player collision, player models, all of that shit, but the design philosophy was absolutely terrible. Instead of adjusting your playstyle, it seems that Infinity Ward has made the game for many different playstyles with the combat rig system. It's basically a specialist weapon plus an additional perk for your class, which isn't really much of a revolution from the system that Black Ops 3 put in place. I really don't like the specialists much because support streaks really fuck me off, and some of them might be fun, but most of the time, specialists are just plain annoying to fucking deal with. These specialists aren't like the classes in Battlefield where you're only tied to a specific weaponry with certain specialists. However, certain weapons and perks will benefit from certain loadouts more than others. Speaking of loadouts, the head dev that looks like Lloyd from Dumb and Dumber said that he wanted to make the decisions within the Pick 10 system harder, so that's why the various beepity-bops seem to be more powerful than in the past with the explosive throwing knife and that Gersh device looking thingy. What they should have done is made a weighted point system whereby secondaries and all these other things cost less than primary guns and primary gun attachments or certain perks, which they tried to do in Ghost but failed miserably because there were 35 fucking perks in the game. This actually would have caused people to make the tough decisions about tactical lethals and other, instead of making these one-time use items more powerful, and this worries me about getting killed by random explosions instead of getting outgunned by an enemy. Now, let's get to what I think will be the downfall of this game, and I cannot believe they didn't learn from Advanced Warfare in this: weapon variants. While the system looks cool at first and will definitely increase the longevity of the game by dangling that carrot out in front of players to continue playing the game so that they will get more salvage in order to craft cooler items, the fact that there is an in-game currency that is used in order to craft these additional items screams microtransactions. I'm already braced for it, and you should too. Pay to win sucks in free-to-play games, but it's 1,000 times worse in full-priced games. It's also a disservice to people like me that don't eat, breathe, and sleep playing Call of Duty, as I enjoy playing other games because my sanity wouldn't let me play only Call of Duty for an entire year, like I used to back in the day when the games were better. People that play the game much more will be able to get all of these more powerful weapons as it was in Advanced Warfare, with getting all of those powerful variants only if you prestige 15 times or more. Ain't nobody got time for that. Thus, it encourages or even enforces people having to pay in order to try and get these more powerful weapons. As we saw in the trailer, there aren't any downsides to these variants, as they only stack proficiencies on top of the perks you already have, so you know that they are objectively better, versus some of the variants in Advanced Warfare which had some drawbacks on it, like the AK-12 RIP, which had a lot more damage, but you sacrificed ammo, which are better for people that don't have as shitty of an aim as I do. Not to mention, Infinity Ward already confirmed that they are bringing back classic guns, which also screams either supply drops or microtransactions, unless they give them away, like the Red Hot Chili Peppers would say with updates, which is doubtful. And it will have an in-game gesture system along with that Destiny-esque pre-match screen where people can ogle over your fancy clothes, which just means more money fuckery. Microtransaction opportunities are abound in this game, which is a definite turnoff. Lastly, on game modes, I'm guessing they ditched the idea for the air superiority for multiplayer, which kind of sucks because I think that would have been a fun change of pace from the soldier-focused engagements. The inclusion of Oddball makes sense given that uplink is now a huge thing, and I really hope that for competitive, which they mention zero about, by the way, because Infinity Ward has always been shitty for competitive. I hope that competitive gets rid of Capture the Flag because uplink is just a much better game mode to play and to watch. It looks like they're also doing round-based domination like in Black Ops 3 with no timer and switch sides at 100 points, which is how it actually should be. I also saw Grind and Reinforced on that list returning from Ghost along with Frontline, and its description is basically TDM with a static spawn, which is kind of like the game mode in Call of Duty Online where you get the crazy spawn protection at the beginning of it. This playlist should be pretty much dead within a month of launch. We don't need more TDM variants unless it's cranked, which I don't see in this list. Maybe it's under the alternate mode somewhere. Now on to Modern Warfare Remastered, which got the loudest ovation of the day, unsurprisingly. The game looks pretty slick, however I'm disappointed in the variation they added to the game, like the medals incessantly popping up on the screen, which fucking triggers me. The point notification is much more jarring with that yellow fucking text, and the weapon inspect from CSGO. Seriously, I know how proud you are of how much better the textures look, but nobody gives a shit about their weapon camo, and there's only 6 to choose from, including a gold camo on all guns, much to the chagrin of purists everywhere. Even though I won't be purchasing a Legacy Edition because I already have 2 copies of COD 4 and don't need a third, I think it'll be a good game because Raven is the company that made Call of Duty Online, so they've already have experience with reimagining things from old games into a new one. If they sell it separately for cheap, I might consider it, but for me, I'm drawing a line in the sand here, especially given that Raven has already stated that they're going to be adding new surprises to the game with the December update, which will give 6 more maps to play on. Maybe that inspect weapon feature might actually come in handy for additional camos, but given what we've already seen from Call of Duty Online development, tons of additional shit were added after launch, including maps, game modes, weapons, character skins, and much more, so I wouldn't put it past Raven to do some or all of these things with Call of Duty 4. And I'm also thoroughly disappointed, but not surprised, that Activision, for all its touting about the Call of Duty Endowment Fund during the COD XP briefing, said it wouldn't back the people that do the race every year because they wanted to play Modern Warfare Remastered and not Infinite Warfare. That is some petty, corporatist bullshit, which just shows you the greed of Activision knows no bounds. This is why I'm not buying the Modern Warfare Remaster, because I can't support this type of bullshit. As someone said in the live stream to Mark Lamia,
but Treyarch's not done with Black Ops 3. No, we're not.
Yeah, supply drops are bullshit, but Lamia has the right idea because they're laughing all the way to the bank. They make Activision money. I know they're using techniques from psychologists in order to brainwash people into buying them. However, we have to be stronger than this and stop buying this bullshit. So, what did you guys think about the Infinite Warfare and Modern Warfare Remastered multiplayer reveals? Too long, didn't read. If Infinite Warfare is like Black Ops 3 with a better design philosophy, I'm sold but weary about the gun variants ruining the game. And Modern Warfare Remastered's not on my radar because I can go play it on PC right now. I've been the Schwantz27, out like the Eagles and Sam Bradford. Until next time.